for all the 40 plus participants who have joined and yet to join. I really appreciate your valuable time to attend this 11th session. And I sincerely hope that you were able to attend all the previous 10 sessions and take away a lot of good things from the previous speakers as well. So I was given this opportunity to cover on the real case studies, real-time use cases which happened across the globe. So I'll do my best to cover whatever actually happened across the globe, and we will try to stick around case studies and use cases itself. Anything above and beyond this, if you have, kindly you can contact me offline. Maybe I'll provide my mail ID. Ma'am can provide it, and you can contact me anytime. So before I go into the real use cases and case studies of this one, I'll tell you where all these are coming from. Okay, so basically I work in IT and we work with global clients who are into different domains. Okay, I deal with a lot of clients. I take care of a lot of big portfolios. They are into retail space, some are into medical space. Excuse me, I'm not well. Bear with me. Some are into financial space, some are into automobile, some are into transportation and logistics management. So there are different clients who work in different domains, who I deal with, different portfolios and different programs I handle. And with all my experience in all these spaces, right, cybersecurity is a part of it. But otherwise, I also work on the end-to-end solutioning architectures of different clients, implementations, support, consulting, and proposals. A lot of things we do. And this cybersecurity is a topic which is very close to everyone's heart, which is not just with IT and finance, but the business teams also pay a lot of attention. All the CX level, all the CTO, CEO, CXO, CBOs, all the CX level pay nowadays are paying a lot of attention to this cyber security, real world use cases, so that they are learning out of it. They're trying to build a governance out of it, trying to build some frameworks across their organizations so that they will not be, facing the issues in cybersecurity and investing a lot on the digital forensics here. Okay, so in this particular session, what we are going to do is we are going to look at the real life use cases which happened across the globe. And fortunately or unfortunately, there is nothing that I can really cook up that this has happened somewhere, that has happened somewhere, and that will really have of no interest or significance to you. So I am forced to take real use cases which really happened, refer a lot of books, articles, magazines, talk to a lot of people, my experience. I try to summarize all of them with the best I could, and I will try to share all those to you guys. And I have also provided the reference to the links which I have used in this particular case. Okay, so now I will move on to share my PPT, and we will go ahead with the session. Okay, so first of all, ma'am, can you please confirm if you are able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. It is shared mode.
Okay, you are able to see, right? Okay, so let's start. I do not really know if it's going to take 1.5 hours or less or more, but we will cover what is in the PPT, and then I think if we have extra time, I'll leave it to you guys to to go back and do something useful. But if we cover till 3:30, then let's go for it. So so we are going to talk about case studies and real world applications. Give me a minute, let me just do this as well. Okay, yeah, so let's start. So so what is the overall challenge in this cybersecurity? So the point is, how do we address this range of cybersecurity challenges? Okay, so the cybersecurity challenges, last 10 sessions you might have heard that you've seen that issues are not just in government services or only public or private sector organizations. It is across the board. Okay, wherever you have exposure to internet, wherever you have social devices, digital devices. You are into social media. There are a lot of, across the board, you have this cyber security challenge. So overall challenge is, how do we really address these cybersecurity issues across different organizations, spanning multiple, like government, public, private sector, IT sector, schools, colleges. It's a different thing. Everything is covered under this, right? So how do we really address this challenge? So there are three, on a broad level. These are the three ways we can address, right? The first thing is, very foremost important thing, the leadership matters, right? So when we say leadership really matters, right, the management or the leadership in every organization, now they need to have a cyber security governance as a priority for them. Generally, right, a lot of companies, a lot of institutions, they don't really focus a lot on this. They are so busy with their day-to-day routine. Like, for example, education institution is so busy to cover their curriculum on time. They want to ensure the students pass on time, they get their jobs on time, they ensure everything is going smooth. They want to grow as a college, become a university, and so and so forth. But what they really don't understand or think is, cyber security governance cell, cyber security governance frameworks, policies should be made very, very clear and in everyone's mind. So that leadership really matters is, these guys have to ensure that all the organizations have a governance made as a priority, and it is well announced, well known to everyone, so that everyone keeps that in mind while they operate in their day-to-day activities. So this is what the leadership really matters. Now, leadership is not just everything, right? So leadership is one way, right? Okay, you have the management, you have the leadership, they give you the direction, they tell you what yes, what's no, what not to do, what to do, and all that. But the laws, policies, structures, and processes across, these things, right, they have to be aligned to the cybersecurity governance, which is a priority, so that focus just does not change with personality as personalities change, right? So when you, let's say, I am heading one company, okay, so for me, cybersecurity governance is a priority. For me, I have put some laws, structures, policies in place. A lot of people keep following it. However, the moment I quit the organization, the moment, someone else comes and sits in my seat, for him the cybersecurity may not be a priority as like how I have enforced. Now that shouldn't really happen. The Irrespective of the personalities, irrespective of the personas, irrespective of the leadership who sits, who governs that particular institution, whether they change, they stay, they leave, someone else comes in, no matter what happens, the cybersecurity priorities and policies should not change. That focus should remain as a priority for that particular organization. Failing which, they will be succumb to a lot of cybersecurity challenges across the board. So this is what it means, right? Now the third one is, governance crosses organization boundaries. The distributed nature of cybersecurity, right? Now it's, as I said, right, cybersecurity is not just in one area or one particular stream or one particular sector or organizations. It is spanned across the organization, right? And it's within that boundary, outside that boundary as well, because cybersecurity for you is within your organization. However, you have to interact with people outside your organization as well, right? So the range of governance mechanism is not just within your organization or your sector, but also when you deal with other organizations outside your boundary, there also it has to be applicable. They have to be well defined, well framed, and well informed, so that they also work with you and operate with you in that level, so that you won't have any cybersecurity challenges for your particular organization. Okay, so this is what this slide means. I'll keep going on with the slides, and maybe at the end we'll try to take up questions if you want to have, so that we won't miss the flow. Other audience also won't get distracted with the flow, so I'll prefer to go ahead with that. So these are the cybersecurity case studies. I promise, right? There are so many I have with me. I I cannot put those 50 or 100 plus use cases here. So I have covered some of them here, some interesting ones, some in the references section. And other things, if you really want to have, there are a lot of things available on different articles, magazines as well. You can kindly take a look at it. So the first one we'll talk about is the Internet Archive data breach. It happened recently, 2024. Okay. Now what happened here? These hackers, right? The smart guys, they exploited and exposed a Git lab. Now, I know everyone is aware, right? GitLab, the moment you expose a GitLab, all your uh, code, all your development, all your documentation, whatever is proprietary, your IP, intellectual property of your organization, is exposed to the public. Now, the moment it's exposed to public, right? Now, that particular data might be kept as a secret for maybe some research purpose, or for a patent, or it may be to solve a serious problem. For example, in health industry, the data, they might have kept it to solve a serious issue like a cancer or something else. Now that data, the moment it comes out, it is, the data is breached. And what happened in this case, the 31 million user accounts data was breached. And because of that, what happened, you can just imagine, right? The entire data of those 31 million user accounts data, like their username, authentication, credentials, their debit card, credit card details, address, their loan details, their medical details, everything was exposed. And it was a serious issue which happened, right? So it highlights the importance of the secure code management practices and vulnerability management. Okay, so this is one issue which happened in the past. Okay, then the second one is Park Mobile data breach. Okay, this is again another data breach which happened. And it actually, right, what happened here is similar, right? The personal information of 21 plus million users was breached, and that was exposed in public. Now this again emphasizes the vendor security assessment and regular security audits. The date, when the moment you have your data saved or stored by some vendor or some third party tool or a software or somewhere else, right, you need to have regular security audits and security assessments thoroughly on a regular basis, right? If you do not have that, what happens, this is what happens, right? If you don't regularly keep a track of what's there, what's in there, and you don't audit it, don't assess it on a regular period, some smart guy at the background is ready to hack your data. Okay, this is what has happened. They didn't do it, so it happened. Okay. Then this McLeod Russell India ransomware attack 2024, right? So this is another very famous one. So what happened was, the company's IT infrastructure itself was compromised by ransomware. Okay, these guys have sent something, then they have asked for, you send me this many bitcoins, you deposit this much amount, that only then will release your data and all that. So their entire IT infrastructure was compromised. Okay, and this underscores the importance of the robust backup and recovery plans, and as well as the employee cyber security awareness training. This is a very important point. Now, because in this case, what happened, one of the employees got a ransomware mail. He wasn't aware, as because he did not undergo the cybersecurity awareness training. Their company kept telling all the employees that every year you have to undergo this cybersecurity awareness training, you have to pass this. So that guy took it easy. He said, okay, what, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to complete this awareness training. It has nothing to do with my paycheck, right? So if I don't undergo this cybersecurity awareness training, what would happen to me? If anything happens, going to happen to the company, right? So he didn't really care. Now that ransomware, screwed up their entire IT infrastructure, and you know what happened? That because of their IT infrastructure got halted, all their clients who had their data on this infrastructure went on a toss, right? So everything came to a standstill. Every employee, including this guy, lost their job. They are done. That's about it. Okay, so that's a very serious thing which happened. Then the Equifax data breach again. Now this due to some patch vulnerability, right, 147 million individuals were impacted. So in this case, what we are going to understand, the importance of regular security audits again, but not just that, prompt vulnerability management. In this case, it is patching, right? So as you know, most of us use the Windows devices, most of us use non-Windows devices. A lot of patching, there are a lot of updates. Sometimes we take it easy, we do not get those patches updated, we don't focus on those. But what happens because of that is if you don't have the latest patches installed, the latest software installed, what happens is you are going to expose your network and your system to a lot of cybersecurity issues like viruses, ransomwares, a lot of Trojan. So like a lot of other issues, like you understand what I meant, but a lot of issues can happen. So always ensure that you are on the latest and the greatest patch and the software for your applications as well as your networks. Okay. The Pegasus airline data breach. Now this happened, and you can just imagine, okay, a small misconfiguration by an employee exposed 6.5 terabytes of sensitive data, including flight charts, crew information. Just imagine 6.5 terabytes of sensitive data. This is extremely huge sensitive data, including the crew information, flight information. This got exposed, and that really became a big issue. Okay. So this is one issue. Then the ransomware attacks. Now this ransomware attacks, as you guys know, right? I mean, we talked about one here. These have become increasingly common now, targeting different organizations of different sizes, when they attack critical infrastructure, educational institutions, healthcare providers, financial organizations, real estate, retail, supply chain management. They disrupts across the board. Okay, so there are a lot of issues which happen, and these ransomware attacks are quite common nowadays. So it emphasizes the need for robust security measures, strong access controls, regular backups, and incident response plans. Now, when you say incident response plans, like something like business continuity plan, BCP plan, the incident resolution plan, you have a lot of backup plans. For example, in the case of a fire accident, you have the fire extinguishing team, that ERT team, who come to the rescue, immediately save us, right? Like that, we need to have teams who immediately respond whenever there is an issue. So that incident response plans and teams who take care of these regular backups, strong control access management is pretty important in such cases. And the last, which it's one which I wanted to talk was in this slide, is mobile device forensics. Now everything is a smart device, right? Starting from your watch, your wearable devices, mobiles, tabs, watches, chains, phones, everything, laptops, every device, every wearable device nowadays, it necessarily not be a mobile or a laptop or ipad or a tab. Nowadays you see rings, you see watches, you see chains, you see gogs. Everything is a digital device nowadays, right? So the extracting data from mobile devices, smartphone, tablets, you have to ensure that the data stored in cloud-based devices such as Google Drive, Dropbox. So the cloud forensics has to be taken care. Then the digital forensics, right? It continues to evolve. It's not dead there. It's continuing to evolve as the cybercrimes increasing and it becomes increasingly sophisticated. Your digital forensics also need to evolve as and when these increase, right? So that plays a very vital role in combating, right, in the cyber threats and ensuring that it's a digital justice across. So this plays a very vital role. Nowadays people are getting smarter, devices are getting smarter, a lot of AI everywhere. A lot of cyber threats, a lot of cyber issues, deep fake, so many things are out there, but it's very hard to understand, very hard to even imagine are things happening. Okay, we'll move to the next slide. Now we will go about a few more use cases here again, because this particular session is purely on the use cases and case studies. So now let's talk about the digital forensics, which is playing a crucial role, right, in investigating the different thefts or offenses or cyber crimes. Here are some of the very prominent use cases and real world examples which happened. Some are very famous, right? Like for example, the Sony pictures in 2014, like 10 years back, we're talking about. Now what happened? the hackers breached Sony Pictures' entire systems landscape. At that time, the IT infrastructure was not really great. A lot of cloud computing was not still out there. Not much of cybersecurity governance or measures were taken. At that time, the hackers breached the Sony Picture systems, stealing a lot of sensitive information. They have released, some people were lucky enough, okay, when this happened, right? They got to see all the unreleased movies. So the unreleased movies got released. A lot of people got to see it for free. The employee emails, their personal data, everything was exposed. Sensitive information was stolen. Now, these forensic experts were instrumental in analyzing the attack. They analyzed it, they identifying the attackers, and then they mitigated the damage. Okay, so basically, they have mitigated damage, they have stopped it from happening, but already something damage has already happened by that time. By that time, they actually mitigated the bigger damage. Okay, that's what has happened that time. So now, in the Ashley Madison hack, this issue 2015, the hackers again exposed millions of personal data from the extramarital affair website. This is a kind of popular, unpopular, kind of so-called not really a good thing, but yeah, they had an extramarital affair website. Then the digital forensics team helped investigate, and they understood the extent of the breach, and they identified the hackers, but it was little too late. Okay, this exposed a lot of data. Now a lot of families have broken, a lot of families got exposed. Let's not talk about it too much also, right? So a lot of things happened here. The Target data breach 2013. These hackers have stolen millions of credit card numbers from the Target customers, right? Now, those days, see, nowadays we have credit cards, debit cards, a lot of other smart cards where you have two-way digital authentication, two-way multi-factor authentication, MFA, where you log in with your password, then it sends a digital code onto your mobile, you either accept or deny it, or a token gets generated on a timely basis. You provide the token number. So there's a multi-factor authentication, two-step, three-step, three-leg, two-leg. A lot of things are right there, but that time, if you talk about 2013, it wasn't there so much, right? See, this credit card information numbers were exposed from the target customers. Then the digital forensics again was used to analyze the attack, identify the vulnerabilities, and prevent the future breaches at least. Then the Colonial Pipeline ransom attack 2021. They attacked the Colonial Pipeline. It's a fuel pipeline in the United States. So this is one of the major pipeline providers in the United States. So the fuel, right, which is used across this US, they had a shortage of this. So because of this, a major pipeline, that system got stopped. A lot of shortages across the country. A lot of issue happened, and then again, the digital forensics team came into rescue. They understood the attack. They tracked the hackers. They recovered the system. But again, if they had done it preventively beforehand, this wouldn't have happened, right? So we are just trying to emphasize and try to understand the importance of digital forensics to avoid, to mitigate such issues in happening, right? Now the cyber crime investigations, right? So the digital forensics, now it is used to analyze the computer, mobile devices, network traffics, and track down the cyber criminals, and also gather the evidence for prosecution, right? So only if you collect the evidence you have with you, only then the laws will accept for any prosecution, right? So digital forensics plays a major role in collecting the data, so that by gathering the evidence for prosecution, then you can go ahead and prosecute, right? The IP theft, right? So we just talked about IP earlier, right? So it can again, the digital forensics, it is used to identify the source of the stolen IP data, because copyrighted software, trade secrets, a lot of people, right? A lot of what do we call? We break the firewall. The torrents, we download a lot of torrents, unreleased movies. A lot of people prefer to download these torrent softwares, right? And these are all IP copyrighted software. So we try to jailbreak them. We try to use them illegally. A lot of people go into a lot of legal issues as well, especially in Asian countries, right, and African countries. We have seen a lot of issues happening because the laws are not so tight. So people have, taken it for granted and they have done that. And a lot of trade secrets also were leaked. So that's what we're talking here. And then the corporate espionage, right? So corporates especially, right, they have a lot of sensitive data. Okay, now sensitive data in corporates, it's not just about your client data or any other data, but in this case, right, there are some child exploitation as well, child pornography and child grooming also as well, some data. Some companies and countries, I want to quote them, but it happened that also, right? So that's a very horrible thing that happened, right? So let's talk about some individual use cases for next like 10-15 minutes, right? Okay, now a dark web of issues for a small government contractor. Okay, there is a small government contractor. So it's like a use case. Like I have built it like a story covering five different areas. What is the scenario? What was the attack? What was the response? What was the impact and the lesson learned? Okay, I got some good information from some magazines and documents, some lot of articles I study, so I gathered some of them. So in this case scenario, right, a CEO of a government contracting firm, right, he was notified that basically there was an auction. Okay, that auction, they were trying to selling access to their firm's business data. So that particular auction, in the dark web, this CEO discovered that his company's data was put on auction, which included access to their military client database. So immediately he established the data being sold. Okay, and then he said it was not tied up to any government company. He didn't understand how did it happen. Then they identified that a senior employee had downloaded a malicious email attachment thinking it was from a trusted source. Now this senior employee of this organization, he downloaded some malicious email attachment. Some guy sent him an email. He thought it's from a trusted source. He downloaded that, and that exposed all their military client database data. Okay, this is the scenario. Now what is attacked? Now a phishing attack where the malware is in the attachment, right? So this malware is an attachment, he downloaded it, so it's called a phishing attack, as you all know. Now that is a form of social engineering attack where the criminal, he tries to trick that individual, right? He tries to trick him by saying, like, as if he has sent it from a valid source, valid authentic source, such as a business or a colleague with his name or ID or something like that. A small letter or character he will change, and we may, this from my colleague, this my friend, and we'll just go ahead and straight away opened it. That's what happened in this case. Okay, the moment he opened that, the malware, the phishing attack happened, the malware got downloaded, and then the in this case it is asked to confirm his personal information, like prompting him to provide a password or something else. Now that affected the entire network. Now in response, what did the company do? The company IT management immediately shut off all the communications to the affecting server. Okay, and they took the systems offline. They disconnected, went out of the network. They ran the cybersecurity scans to check any other additional breaches. Then they had a reputable cybersecurity forensics firm. Then the government agency was notified. Then the US Secret Service assisted in this investigation. So it went till there. Okay, the reputation is gone, money gone, a lot of screw up happened. Okay, what was the impact? Let's understand the impact as well, right? Now the operational and financial impact from the breach was so extensive, it costed more than 1 million dollars in this case. Okay, now the company was offline for several days, entire business was disrupted, new security licenses had to be procured, new servers had to be set up, configuration had to be set up. Even after doing so much, it was so difficult to convince a lot of clients to invest in them, to come back to them, to trust them, to again build back their reputation. Their shares fell down, their name is reputation is gone for a toss. The US security services did not trust them anymore. The government of US did not trust them anymore. A lot of issues happened. That was the impact. Okay, now what is the lessons we've learned? You are never too small to be a target. Okay, cyber attack can happen to anyone, everywhere, across the board, starting from a student, a non-teaching staff, teaching staff, faculty, operation team, watchman, everyone, driver, everything, everywhere. Like, because the moment you are linked to an organization, right, a mail, a message, a chat, video call, anything can happen. Now this guy is a trusted guy, he will send it to someone in the organization and an attack can happen. You need to teach staff about the dangers of clicking an solicited links and attachments, so that they emphasize and they need to stay alert for any warning signs of fraudulent mails. Okay, now you need to install and regularly update all the antivirus, firewalls, and encryption tools to scan, so that you can counteract the viruses and you can stay away from the harmful programs, right? Fourth, very important, ongoing vulnerability testing and assessments need to happen on your entire distributed networks. The moment you have vulnerability testing and regular assessments on your computer networks, what happens? Your risks are reduced, your viruses are reduced, and because of vulnerability testing, a lot of issues can be discovered and overcome beforehand. That's an advantage. Okay, so this is one use case. Now, look at this. A hotel CEO, right? He finds an unwelcome guest in email account. So what it means? Now he has not invited some guests, but those unwelcome guests are in email account. Now let's look at the scenario. This guy of a boutique hotel, he realized that his business has become the victim of a wire fraud when the bookkeeper began to receive insufficient fund notifications for recurring bills. Okay, that means the guy who's taking care, bookkeeper in this case, it's not the bookshop guy. The bookkeeper in this case is the guy who takes care of the accounts of that particular boutique hotel. Okay, this guy began to receive a lot of insufficient fund notifications for recurring bills. Okay, when he started reviewing his accounts, he saw a serious problem. Now what did he find? That CEO himself had clicked on a link in an email. Now he thought that it was from that the regulatory service, the revenue service department. When he clicked that link, what happened? He gave his credentials. It captured the CEO's login, giving them full access to the business and personal details. So this is a CEO guy's mistake. Okay. Now, what was the attack? The social engineering phishing attack. In this case, it's again, we talked about phishing attack. Now, it has exposed his personal information, his password, and it has affected his computer with the malware. What was the response? The hotel's cash reserves were depleted, all money gone. The fraudulent transfers amounted for more than 1 million US dollars. The hotel also had to contact a cybersecurity firm to help them mitigate the risk so that they won't have another repeated attack. So money gone, reputation gone, engage someone else who comes in, reputation gone. Again, a fear of repeated attack in future. All that happened. Now, what was the impact? $1 million again. Okay, to an account in China. It was not even recovered. Okay, so some guy from China did it. $1 million gone. It was not even recovered. Now, what were the lessons learned? You have to teach the staff about the dangers, right? Then we have to engage them in regular email security trainings. Engage your staff in regular email security trainings. Never take it easy. Take it very serious. You have to engage them in regular security trainings. Now you have to implement stringent wire transfer protocols and validations, right? So that when your protocols are strong, when you have proper strong frameworks, strong designs, strong tools in place, then these issues may not happen regularly, right? Now you need to have, as we discussed, incident response plan and the implementation plan. People to do it should be trained and ready to implement that. Okay, now let's look at one serious thing. This is one of the things I very close to what I've really felt bad about, because anything to do with patient data, hospitals, or health data is the crucial thing, right? Money will come and go, But just imagine about patient data, hospital data, health, right? I think medical, right? That is very important. Now, in this case, stolen hospital laptop causes heartburn. So what happened? A healthcare system executive, he left his work issued laptop. Okay, it had access to 40,000 plus medical records. In a car, he forgot his laptop. The car was broken, laptop was stolen. Now, his device was not encrypted. Because it wasn't encrypted, all the data were read, this 40,000 medical record data. Okay, now encryption, right? If it's not there, what happens? Now encryption is, what is the process? It's the process of scrambling that readable text so that it can be only read by that person who has the decryption key, right? If you don't encrypt it, anyone can just go into and just start looking at the data, right? So you need to have the encrypted data, so it creates an additional layer of security for sensitive information. Now what's the response? This employee immediately reported the theft to a police and to the medical care systems IT department. Now they immediately disabled that laptop remote access and started monitoring the activity on his laptop. This laptop was fortunately, right, equipped with some security tools and password protection. However, the data stored in the hard disk was not encrypted. This included sensitive personal patient data. The hospital had to follow the state laws as they pertain to the data breach. And as you know, especially in the United States, the PII data, which is personally identifiable information, and the PHI, protected health information, PHI and PII data, they require rigorous reporting and standards. They follow that in the US. Okay, so the US Department of Health and Human Services were notified. After the theft, these system began to do extensive review on their policies. Then they created a procedure so that the employees were trained. They did a thorough review. Then they revealed it, they enhanced it, and they improved it. Okay, but that's an after the issue happened, right? Now what was the impact? Impact is $2 lakh in remediation and monitoring operation, right? So much amount they had to spend. Now the a data breach does impact a brand negatively, and trust has to be rebuilt. We talked about in the previous slide as well, right? The entire brand reputation is gone, your trust is gone, no one's going to trust you again. And especially when it comes to hospital and management data, right? Very, 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 very sensitive data. See, that's one way of looking at it, right? But I'll tell you the other way of looking at it as well. It's not just about patient sensitive data. Your competitor companies, right, who are in the healthcare space, they may be working on some APIs, some medicines, some research they may be doing as your competitor, right? So the moment you expose it, they is going to take that API. They may be adding some more APIs to that and release that before you could time to market. At the same time, they may also try to spoil your APIs, add some more nonsense to whatever medicines that you are releasing to the market, which causes a negative effect and build a negative reputation. It happened, a lot of things happen like this, so it's pretty scary to even think of. Okay, the lessons learned: companies must establish and train their employees regularly so that they know that, okay, I'm taking a device from my organization, that how I need to handle this device, what data it has, how secure I need to keep that data. They need to be well aware of this. They should know how to handle this securing the devices and the data on those devices. Okay, these devices must be safely stored when when they are not in use. The employee is going out, the employee is stepping out for some work. If they leave it in their car or at home, see, we generally, right, including me, right, when we go out, our office given laptop or devices, we store it at home, we keep it at home and go out. Now if there is a theft that happens, they say, take it from you, from the car or from your bag, from your house, right? At least if you have an encryption on that, and password and MFA enabled, not much of a damage can happen. Just you may lose a device like hardly 50K or 1 lakh, but data is the key here. So that we should ensure it's not lost. Not just with encryption, better to keep the encrypted data on a cloud, so that even if I hack your this thing, data is not here. It's on some other server which is very secure and somewhere else, okay, which I can log in only with some MFA. The companies must understand, right, that the responsibility of data breach, loss of the state, they have to understand, okay, um, where is our organization registered, what are the laws of that state, what do we have to adhere to, right? Also, not last but not the least, a regular review of the company security practices, right, needs to happen, so that they modernize their IT to prevent the incidents, and they reduce the impact of these issues from happening in future, right? So this is what it means. Now, this is another interesting use case. A business trip to South America goes south. From the name itself, you understand it's a business trip to South America. So a 10-person consulting firm, right? They just sent a small team to South America to complete a client project. Okay. Now these guys went there. An employee used a debit card at a local ATM. Okay, he swiped something for some money. A month after returning to the US from South America, this firm has received an overdraft notice that withdrawal of $13,000 happened, all originating from South Africa. Now, and the overdraft additional fee 1,000 was levied. So these guys already come. It's been a month now. Why is it all happening? Attack was they installed an ATM skimmer device to record card account credentials. Okay, so that skimmer device, if you have seen a lot of Insta forwards, WhatsApp forwards keep getting right on the ATM, they put a skimmer device on the ATM. And what the skimmer device does, it collects all your account information, keeps it with it. Now, what it does, it uh, it occurs on ATMs, or wherever we have these POS terminals, right? Point of sale terminals, like a kiosks, where you have enter your information and all your sales orders are raised. All the POS terminals, then the fuel, petrol bunks we call here, to capture the data, right? So all those places, the skimmer devices are used by the criminals. Okay, what they do, they collect the data, they create fake debit card, and they steal from the victim accounts. Now, as a response, what happened? They realized that, oh, this fraud has happened. Then the firm contacted the bank. They closed the account immediately. Then reimbursement from the bank. Obviously, why would bank give you? It's your problem, right? It was not successful. The commercial account used by the ATM for that local currency, right? It had different protections to reimburse, but it didn't work. The bank went on to detect the 1,000 overdraft fee as well. Now, this obviously, right, every firm has a multiple types with bank, right? The bank offered them comprehensive fraud protection guarantee. Then they had to create two business accounts, one for making funds, one for making transfers. A lot of things happened. Okay, now to overcome this, what did they do? They started paying the expenses electronically. Okay, only when necessary. So that was a lesson learned. What was the impact? The entire cash reserve was wiped away for $15,000. It's a small company, right? 10-employee company, $15,000 is big amount for them, right? So all amount got swiped off. Now, lesson learned: use major credit card while traveling. Okay. Now you don't use some local credit cards. Like generally people go for this one, right? Amex or Visa, a lot of major credit cards, right? So better to go for them because they have a better fraud protection. Then you need to have the alerts on your devices as well, right? Like you get a regular SMS, your app has notifications. Whenever you do a transaction, it should have a multi-factor authentication which sends an email to your registered email ID. You say yes, then goes and ask you for a code. Then you open your app, they generate a unique code, you enter that code, then it works. Plus, if you can have an iris scan or biometric on top of it, three-way, I think that's the most secure nowadays. A lot of companies are also doing that. Okay, So if that is there, then it's I think you're well protected. Then you need to check your bank account frequently, right? So it's not that you check your bank account once in a month or once in a year. You need to keep checking your bank account frequently, so you'll understand what are the transactions being made, if there is any fraudulent transaction happened, right? Then you need to also understand the bank policies to cover your losses, right? In case of any fraudulent activity, what is that bank going to offer you as a part of their bank policy to cover your losses from fraud activities? That's one more thing, right? Then one more use case, right? In this case, a construction company, it gets hammered by a keylogger. Okay, it's a little different case. I'll tell you what it is. A small, very small family owned construction company, right? Now they made extensive use of online banking, okay, and automating clearinghouse, ACH transfers. Now the employees logged in, okay, with both company and the user specific ID password, right? So they have the company ID and they have their own private personal ID. So they used both. Now these transactions were made, and now what happened? This owner, right? He was notified that $10,000 was initiated by an unknown source. Okay. Now they immediately contacted the bank. Then bank identified that in 1 week that cyber criminals had made multiple transactions. In this case, it's six, totaling of 5.5 lakh dollars. How? One of their employees had opened an email which he thought it's from a material supplier, okay, and instead what happened? Malicious email list, right? The malware got installed, and then it was then imposter's account. It's not from their valid supplier. Now in this attack, the cyber criminals were able to install the malicious malware into the company's computers using a keylogger to capture the banking credentials. So all the bank credentials were taken. The keylogger had all the logging done. All the keys were logged. The keylogger is software which silently monitors the computer keystrokes and sends the information to criminal. So what happens on your laptop? The moment you type ABCDE at the rate 123 at the rate 123 password, your keystrokes are all registered. Frames that phrase, happily sends it to the a cyber criminal. That's what these keyloggers done. So these keyloggers have done that, and they started accessing the bank and financial services online using the valid accounts and passwords. This is what has happened. Now, in response, the bank was able to retrieve only $2 lakh. Okay, but how much did they lose? 5.5 lakh. They were only able to recover only 2 lakh, and $3.5 lakh loss. Very huge amount. It's in dollars, not rupees, right? Now, not having a cybersecurity plan in place, it delayed the company's response. The company shut down their bank account. Legal action started. Uh, they had to, start, investigating. There was no money for legal fees and all that. Okay, so they have screwed up everything here. So, what was the lessons learned? You need to have the notifications, transaction alerts on all your transactions. You need to restrict access to sensitive accounts to only some employees, whoever is really the key people who need to have the access, right? Only you need to give access for sensitive accounts to only those key people, and they also need to change their passwords. That password retention policy, password expiration policy need to be set, so that every 30 days, every 45 days, they need to change their password frequently. And there are some smart people, okay. They change the password and they put it on a piece of paper, they stick it on their monitor, okay, so that they will remember it. And some smart people write down passwords in a paper, and they share it with their friend or family. They say, whenever I call you, tell me the password, I keep forgetting. And some smart people I have seen, they write it in a piece of paper, keep it in their wallet, in their pockets, right? So that they can refer it anytime. So if someone gets hold to my wallet, I'll get that paper, and all the passwords of my company and mine are all compromised. So don't do all that, okay. So we need to choose. So you need to choose banks which has multiple layers of authentication and authorization, which we discussed, multi-factor authentication. Now you need to create and practice a cybersecurity incident response plan. It's a rapidly implementable. Don't need to have a plan which is like a 5-year plan, or oh, how do we even do it, we don't know what to do. No, we plan. If you fail to plan, you'll plan to fail. That's a very popular statement, right? So the plan which you have should be rapidly implementable, so that if you fail to plan in the first place, it's like planning to fail. So you need to have a proper plan in place. You need to implement it so that you can rapidly recover and ensure you won't fall prey to the future issues. Last but not the least, the cyber criminals, when they deliver install malicious software by email, right? You need to train employees on the email security. You have to tell them, hey, when you get an email, don't be in a hurry to just click open the attachment or click on the links. Don't do that, right? First, see who is the sender, what is the domain, at the rate whatever you have there, right? So correct. Then look for it. Sometimes when you get it from external sources, the softwares print a watermark or a text saying it's from an external source, unidentified source. Go for it, read it. Don't be in a hurry to open it, because the moment you open it, you're not going to just compromise your data, but your entire company's data as well, right? So be very, very careful about it. Okay. Now, again, we'll just look at few more. I think two, three more slides about use cases, and then I think we are good to close because we have covered a lot. Okay, so these things may sound, it happened somewhere to someone. Why should we really, bother, right? But let me tell you, these things, when it happened to big companies, to big clients, it is extremely easy to happen to someone like you and me. So keep these in mind so that we'll understand the importance of digital forensics, the issues of cybersecurity, how to safeguard ourselves. The Equifax breach, right? It's one of the biggest data breaches in 2017. Now, what the hackers exposed the web application of Equifax. It's a multinational credit reporting agency. Okay, now it has exposed 147 million consumer data. Okay, caused several damage to the credit bureau. Reputation is gone, money is gone. Now this breach happened because in their web application they didn't correct a vulnerability. The vulnerability testing would not, they did not do it with Apache Struts. Their personal IDs and data was exposed to the thefts and hackers. Okay, because of some issue in the application, their web application. The hackers were able to access 209,000 credit card details and their social security numbers, SSNs, of the British and Canadian clients as well. Okay, and now it became a big issue. The ethical hacking happened. So this highlights the importance of vulnerability management and implementation of strong solutions and measures to prevent such breaches from occurring again. So this is one example. Okay, so huge, by the way, very huge. Then the WannaCry ransomware. I'm sure a lot of people know all these, right? But yeah, we have to talk about it, that this happened, right? So this happened. It impacted 230,000 computers in 150 countries. Now, what happened? Their Windows systems had this massive issue where the hackers took advantage of this Windows vulnerability issue. It's named as Eternal Blue. Then Microsoft released a patch. Then people started installing it. Then some people failed to install it. Then they attack, right? It disrupted a lot of operations in government, hospitals, agencies, businesses worldwide. As a response, a kill switch was discovered by the security researchers. What did you do? It immediately, was discovered. Then many payments were made to the hackers to restore their computers, because it's a ransomware, right? When you say ransomware, generally what happens is they get access to your data, and they say, you make this payment, you give me this many bitcoins, or you give this many tokens of this much of amount, this gold, whatever, then we will give you access to your data. So that's what happened in this case. So billions of dollars were paid to them. Again, this case study demonstrate the importance of installing latest updated versions and to be on the latest patching. Okay, so you need to keep updating your system regularly. This is what significance we need to understand from this takeaway. Then the Ukraine power grid attack. I think this is one of the perhaps the biggest power outage. I think it happened nationwide. What happened? It impacted the entire western of Ukraine. Okay, this happened around December some year, right? So the entire city, almost 1/5 of Kiev was into darkness. This war's going on, right? Kiev. So that almost 1/5 went into darkness. A group of actors going by the name Sandworm, they executed this attack in the Ukraine's capital. So they were actually employed by some company called Black Energy 3, some malware, and their entire power distribution went for a toss. So this also happened. Something like this can happen in a great country like Ukraine as well. Okay. Now, if you look at this again, so many pictures we just talked, Pegasus Airlines we talked, then this bad rabbit, right? So now it was an Adobe Flash update which actually infected a lot of computers, right? In Bulgaria, Ukraine, and Russia, right? Now the hackers, they were able to get into the people's computers, posing it as an update for Adobe Flash. So they thought, oh, it's some update of Adobe Flash. See, even personally, I sometimes, right, when some update comes for my system, just because it's an update, I don't even read it sometimes. Oh, it's an update, and I click that update. Okay, I think, oh, it's a major update. I'm very happy, especially on mobiles, right? You get the one fine day, you say, oh, 18.2 version released, iOS 8. Wow, 19 released in future. Immediately go and install. We don't go through the documentation. Who is releasing that software? What is it going to impact? Is it actually released by the company itself? We really don't read. Okay, so that is the issue. So we have to be pretty careful in that. So incidents like this expose how these threats could take any shape and infiltrate our system, right? Example of Adobe Flash. Then Yahoo attack, long back. Okay, now one of the biggest security attacks and data breaches in Yahoo attack. What happened in this case, right? You all know, like I don't know how many of you have used Yahoo, but I have used it. Yahoo initial days, right, when there was no Gmail, there's no Hotmail, and all. Hotmail was there, but yeah, Yahoo chat room, Yahoo chat, mails, news, stocks, a lot of things Yahoo had to provide. It was a big pass platform. Now in 2014, now what happened? This Yahoo exposed their Yahoo account holder names, their phone numbers, everything was exposed, their security questions, email addresses. So many identity theft and phishing attacks happened that time. Now that emphasizes that time, right? It was one of the major things, and it exposes the need for immediately security response and compliance. So that time it was a major issue. 500 million Yahoo accounts were hacked. Okay, and the data was exposed. Then if you look at this Estonia cyber attack, now in 2007, one of the largest cyber attacks happened. So we are talking about different attacks in different domains and what happened, so that we'll get a 360 degree of case studies and use cases are happening across different domains, different countries, different companies, different scenarios, so that we will be 100% clear with the issues which can happen, may happen, or what happened in the past and may happen in the future, right? So in this case, it is a distributed denial of service issue. Okay, now what happened here? One of the largest cyber attacks, Estonia, this Estonia on the company. So what happened is it became victim to DDoS, where the hackers targeted by countries' critical websites, including banks, government, everything, with zombie computers and making their sites inaccessible to the users. So whoever were supposed to access those users were not able to access it. Those they all became zombie computers, so it was not accessible. This attack further, right, it permeated to other services like online banking, communication, media, their internal operations, everything were halted. Now it caused Estonia to carry 1 million USD lost. They lost this much, okay, for this issue. Then Marriott hotel data breach. For Marriott hotel data breach, it led to compromise of personal information for about 500 million guests at the Marriott hotel. Okay. Then this Melissa virus, it was launched by a nice programmer, okay, some smart guy. Now this virus, it's listed in the history of cybersecurity, one of the most dangerous attacks for its spreading and the chaos it created in the initial years of internet, right? This Melissa virus infected Microsoft Word macro functionality, and it poses a serious issue. Infected all the documents, it clogged the servers, inboxes, including Microsoft, Intel, US Marine, everything were screwed up those days. Very famous Melissa virus. Okay, now for this kind of cybersecurity incidents, right, the importance of complying with the security regulation standards and ensuring strict policies, right? So these kind of things, if they're not in place, what all can happen? We highlighted those. So it highlights the importance of complying with regulation standards and security policies, right? Now, there are some more real world use cases. I will leave it to you. You can please feel free to, when you get the PPT, right, click on these links, right? There was an incident where they got unauthorized access to the network by external party. Then some attackers stole documentation and unlimited amount of source code for Cloudflare, example in Okta, again, uh, GitHub. Then this is a GitLab issue, right, where attackers hacked the third-party platform, stole all the GitLab authentication tokens from Zendesk, company like Zendesk also. Okay. Now this DDoS attack was made. The site was unavailable, data breached, so many user account issue. This is an Internet Archive issue. Then the cybersecurity incident, we spoke Park Mobile issue. Then this McLeod also, I think we discussed, right? But more details are in these links. You can definitely go through. There are some more real life use cases. The references, I have taken references content from lot of things. I have mentioned a few and highlighted a few, but there are a lot of other things also with my experience and books and articles. Some cybersecurity use cases are listed here. I think most of you guys know. The top 10 real use cases are listed here. Then the data resilience use cases are listed here. Small business use cases are listed here. Then state governance case studies like government laws and local laws case studies are listed here. Then from these use case and real world examples, right, basically it can help the organizations implement effective cybersecurity measures, right? By with all these examples, we can have a robust security policies framework defined so that we can protect our valuable assets and not get exposed or fall prey to such issues from happening in future, right? So these are some of the references. And I don't know what's the time now. It's 3:10, so almost 10-15 minutes to end the session. But I think I am good. I'm done with the session with whatever I wanted to cover, right? I personally thank you everyone for your valuable time to attend this session. I'm not stopping here. I have done with this session and open for feedback, questions, want to discuss, debate. Feel free to talk, not just cybersecurity. You want to talk about cloud computing, you want to talk about in general in IT industry, the projects which we do, or anything you want to talk about. Feel free to talk any topic. I will do my best to answer you and help you with whatever knowledge I have, with little knowledge I have. So thank you. Over to you, ma'am. Over to you all.
Ah, thank you, sir. Participants, please ask any queries if you do. Do you have any queries? Please post in the chat box. Unmute yourself and ask.
So I have some questions here, ma'am. I have a query. Having known about the above real-time case studies, is it possible, view message, okay? Is it possible To study a particular case study in detail. Yes, please. So if you want to understand a case study in detail, Sarita ma'am, please, I have given all the documents, right? Links. It has some use cases which is very, very in detail, and it is in so detail that it just not just talks about the issue, but the mitigation plans, how they have resolved it, how we have to overcome it, what tools, techniques they have followed, and all that. You can do it, you can check that. So I've given that already. You kindly please go through those, and still you have questions, kindly feel free to drop me an email as well. Ma'am, can I drop my email ID here? Is it okay?
Yes, sir, you can keep.
Yeah, please. So please feel free to contact me, ma'am. I'll put my uh, mobile number as well. So anyone interested can, please feel free to text me, drop me a message. I'll be more than happy to help you. As I said, I'm not just confined to cybersecurity. As I said, I am working in the cloud computing space. So a lot of interesting things are out there that we are still learning and implementing. And I'm sure a lot of you people are well experienced in most of the areas. Some are better than me as well. So I will learn from you also when we interact in future, right? Because I keep visiting a lot of universities, colleges, conferences, sessions, then a lot of IT companies as well. So we look at so many things day in and day out. So a lot of learning out there. I'm happy to share with you. And so what is the difference between local credit card and major credit card? Okay, see, local credit card and major credit card. The example would be, first thing is your local credit card. When I say it will work only in your, it will be adhering to on your local government policy and rules. Two, these local cards, right? Some companies here you may not be seeing, but in some countries they do have for that state some local cards with some bonus points and all that. Now what happens is these cards work in only some ATMs. It works only in some places where the servers, their networks are not so well secured. They do not have right security policies defined. They don't do audit checks regularly. These cards claim that they do this and that, but the coverage is not there. But international credit cards like MX or PayPal and a lot of other international cards proven till now, right? Whatever we have now, if you look at those cards, right, their data is digitally encrypted. Blockchain technology is implemented. It's not easy to access or modify even one record in that particular entire chain. Their security policies are very stringent. Their vulnerability testing is done thoroughly. Security patches are latest up to date. They have continuous monitoring over their data. Then these major credit cards, right, their data is not just in one server, across servers. So it's like the failover backup recovery is pretty fast. Then these major credit cards, when we use it, right, the notification mechanism, the way in which they operate, the data, the way they store, the retrieve, fastness, all this is there in major credit card. But in local cards, like nowadays a lot of companies coming with local cards, okay, like these Paytms and all those apps, right, they come with some local card. It may be great. I'm not trying to compare with major credit card, but let's not go there. Let's go with the major credit card. And not just, see, taking a card is different. Anyone will take a card, but how you utilize that card, how would you put the so is it Flipkart or Amazon credit cards? Yes, see, these Flipkart, Amazon credit card are also, I would say it's local. They are definitely not internationally accredited. So I personally don't go for it. So some vouchers are there for Amazon and Flipkart vouchers, which you can keep in your account and use it for purchases. But we are talking about transactions which we do in thousands or lakhs. When we go abroad, we go out, we go shopping and all that outside, this Amazon, Flipkart credit card, debit card, or whatever they want to call it, they will be used for their apps majority. And only to some other websites, not everywhere, right? It's not gone by RBI or FBI or there's some major bank, Fed in the US. So we need to use cards which are globally accepted, which has renowned, globally acceptable policies defined, ma'am. So this is like very high level difference, which I want to let you know. Thank you, ma'am. Every second we're connected. So how protect ourselves the most possible? Very good question. So including me, right? I have this question myself. So every second I use my mobile personally. I told, right? See, I'm talking to you over this call, and nowadays we are into 100 things. Our kids keep watching devices. Our grandparents, parents, ourselves, we use everything and everywhere. Only one thing I personally feel that we have to do is, when in doubt, don't touch it. That's the only. If you want to take any action on any link or open anything, pay attention, see, check it once. When in doubt, don't touch it. Talk to someone who knows about it and do it. Okay, that's the first thing I would personally say. Don't do it in a hurry. While you are driving, you get a call or you get a message, you open, click a link. Like nowadays, this Christmas links are coming, right? Happy Christmas, happy Santa. The moment you click that link, now it's very popular. Next few days, Happy New Year. This Happy New Year message, now everyone will forward, right? WhatsApp is flooded with good morning, good evening, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas. You keep forwarding it. Everyone opens that message. The moment you open the message, your device is hacked. So be careful. Don't open, don't touch. Okay, even if you open a message, like you get a message, you open it, fine. Don't click something, don't open it, don't read it, don't download it, don't do such things. Just see, in doubt, delete that. Clear. And install the latest softwares always, and I think you are good to go. And nowadays it's very famous, right? I just called someone before this call, and it started telling me that if you get a video call from police authorities or advocates or legal departments, don't pick up the video call. There was a message, I think, no, if you call from Airtel mobiles or Jio mobiles, you're getting this alert. The government has, I think, the regulatory authorities have mandated it for all the customers, right? So that's another example, right? So don't straight away, you get a video call, they say FedEx, sir, FedEx, you just access this link, click this link, then your delivery will be done. Or say I'm calling from Supreme Court, High Court, you have done this fraud, you have done this, click this, we will screw you, and all that. So don't believe all that nonsense. If someone says that, just in case. And yeah, one more, right? Every day one of us are getting this call, right? Plus some country, some crazy number you get. It looks as if you're so tempted to pick the call. Okay, the moment you pick the call, they will ask you nonsense questions. Okay, they'll say, sir, I think you applied for a loan. They get gather our data. Okay, we go to malls, we fill a lot of beautiful forms, lottery forms, application forms. So they know what we do, what's our family and all that. So when they tell some genuine information, we trust them and they give them that information over the call. So don't pick those calls. Have Truecaller installed and just don't unnecessarily answer calls, or don't click on messages or pick up calls. Don't share any information to anyone over the calls. That's another thing I would like to tell you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am, I think we got good questions. Participation is also good. I thought some a lot of people, I thought a lot of people are already aware of it, and it looks like a lot of people are aware. A lot of people are really knowledgeable in this particular session. So the questions they are asked is also very relevant. They have seen this. A lot of I think, ma'am, only professors are in this call, or students are also on this call?
No, sir, only process.
Only, okay, faculty. So they are very knowledgeable, and they have seen these real use cases in their lifetime, right? Every day, whatever I'm talking, ma'am, we all are going through all that. The syllabus which we set for our students, right, on these particular topics in BOS and all that. We put a lot of things, we try to put labs around it and all that, but to be honest, right, whatever efforts we are putting, right, whatever we are doing, it is very little unless that particular individual understands the importance and practices it in his day-to-day life. If he's studying it just because for marks sake and just to clear and to get the credits, he will suffer. So he needs to understand the importance of it in his real life, in his personal life, to safeguard his family, his college, his environment, his neighbors around him. So they have to actually have that mindset to learn and to be safe, not just to study and get marks. So that is something that we have to imbibe as faculty also in to students, because they use mobile more than we use, right? So they click on each and everything, they keep forwarding to us, and we may think, oh, my student has forwarded, we click it and we are gone. So we ourselves have to be very careful. so so yeah, that's also something I want to say.
Okay, sir. Thank you for your wonderful session, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It
So
was
you
very nice talking to you guys.
gave the insightful knowledge on real world applications, the case studies. So you took some case studies and how the problems are happening in the real world and the solutions, how to mitigate them, and how the users has to take the precautions.
Yes.
So it's also wonderful, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable time, irrespective of your busy schedule. You gave us the appointment. Thank you.
No, thanks so much, ma'am. Once again, I would like to sincerely thank the entire crew of your college, your faculty, your teaching staff, the people who organized these sessions, so many sessions, flawlessly it all completed. So great feedback I've received from previous sessions, from previous speakers also. It's all wonderfully organized. Sincerely, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I hope to work with you guys more in future on more other topics, on maybe cloud space, a lot of other spaces I work on, not restricted to cyber security. So we'll keep talking, we'll keep meeting. I hope to work with you guys more in future. Sincerely, thank you once again. Stay safe, stay happy, all the best. And yeah, see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Take care.